Hi everyone, it's Kiri here for Hip Kit Club, and I am working with the September kits. I've got the main kit. I'm also using some elements from the embellishment kit and a sheet from the cardstock kit. Anyway, I've pulled out this pattern paper here, and I had an idea to cut out sort of squares with it, creating sort of a grid design, I guess I was sort of, working on. So that's sort of where I started. Now often with layouts and projects, I don't know about you, but I start with something and then things sort of change as I go on. I just get sort of different ideas. And that's okay, actually, because sometimes it just sort of works out better than where you maybe started. So, yeah, and that's certainly what happened here. So I'm cutting out effectively four 9 squares. And and I was going to go with this sort of traditional type of grid design, and I was going to sit a photo on each of the squares. You'll see one of the squares did have a corner chopped off. It was just the way the paper worked. I couldn't get 4 complete squares, but I figured that's okay. I'll be able to cover it up with some embellishments. So I'm distressing the edges and raising the each of the sides of each of the squares here. And then here we go. So moved on, and you'll see now I have 3 squares. I just decided it just wasn't working quite the way I wanted. And I did have 4 photos, but one of them was very similar. So the 3 photos was actually fine. So I've got my 3 squares. Now, I also focus a bit on layering because I really love adding texture with to create sort of dimensions through using layers. And you'll see I've got quite a few layers already on here. I've created a layer with my frame. So I have my white cardstock, and then I gutted a piece of the dreamy yellow cardstock from the cardstock kit and used that as a frame. I've stitched a border around the edge of that, again, stressing the edges, so that adds a bit more texture too. And then with my 3 squares, they're all raised up on foam pads. And then I'm just obviously now adding my photos, which I've mounted as well. And they're also being raised up. So I'm just building layers as I go. And then what I was just doing there, I pulled out, actually, I did use the colour kit as well. Forgot about that. It's the Lindy's Magical Shaker. It's the Gustav's Gold Leaf from that. And I just thought I'd just add a little bit of detail around the edge. And that also creates another layer, if you like, behind the 3 squares. So I've just added, it's a bit hard to see, but I have just added like a corner detail on each of the 3 squares. So now what I've done, I'm pulling out the embellishments, and this is always the fun part, but it's also it's the bit that I fiddle around with the most. And those of you who haven't seen my videos, you'll know that I do take a while doing this, and some of it I actually do off camera while I figure out how things are going to work and what have you. I sort of wish I could just pull out embellishments and whack them down and they were just exactly perfect in the way I wanted, but it's, I quite enjoy moving things around, so that's okay. So I'm going to create sort of 3 clusters, and this again talks to the sort of rule of 3 with design. 3 is a really, balanced. I guess it balances the layout in regards to it. Has 3 corners, points, if you like, and then that sort of draws the eye in. So that's what I'm working with here. I've got the florals from the die cut shapes. This is in the embellishment kit, and I am just adding those just with a bit of glue on the center of each of them. That way I can lift the petals. And again, that adds, the texture and dimension rather than keeping everything totally flat. So, yes, I'm building that up. And then once I've got those down, then I can start to work with some of the other embellishments and add to those clusters. So I've got the little mini puffy shapes here. They are in the embellishment kit. And I'm just adding a little center to one of the flowers on each of the clusters there, just with those sort of star-shaped stickers. And yeah, so I'll keep working with embellishment. What else am I going to do? Oh, I've got a little pile here. Okay, I've got a few pieces here from the die cut shapes here. So I've got the Great Fun circle. I've got some of the chipboard shapes as well. That's also in the main kit. The little tabs there that I'm adding in, the little bow. It's like a little notebook there. It says take notes. I've got the owl. I love owls, and I'm sort of trying to add it in. It doesn't make it, to be fair. I didn't keep it there. I've got a few of the flowers on the stems. I don't use those either. So Okay, here we go. So I've got things a bit more in place. I've also brought in some of the gold puffy stickers, which are lovely. They're in the embellishment kit, and I've just added a few of the leaves to each of the clusters there. And then I'm just sticking down the chipboard shapes and the die cut shapes that I've got in place on those little tabs there. I'm just going to add the date. So I'm going to have like September 20th to 22nd, 2024 on each one one on each of them. Okay, so this is coming together. We're getting there. Or coming back to the puffy shape, seeing if there's anything else that I can add in, but no, I don't think this one makes it. It doesn't, definitely doesn't, no. This is the little camera. I do add the camera after a bit of fiddling around. It does go, yes, it's going to go there. So yay, made a decision. And then, yeah, moving on. Anyway, these photos were of a lovely weekend we had back in September. I'm in the UK, so they were up on the Norfolk coast in a little place called Munsley. It has a beautiful beach, and it's just really, really lovely. And my title is going to be Happy Place because I love being by the water. I grew up in Australia and I was, lived by the coast. So, and here in the UK, I'm not so close to the water. So I do love it when I get to go back to the coast. So yeah, so this was a lovely weekend that we had up in Munsley. We've been there many times and really, really love it. Okay, I brought in the rub-ons now, and these are fabulous. Rub-ons have certainly made a comeback, and I'm just adding a couple of the leaves I've pulled out here. So I've added the yellow one down the bottom and the mustardy yellow, and then this sort of bluey colour here. And then I'm just going to add in a couple of little tiny flowers as well. They are super easy to rub on with the little lollipop stick there. They just sort of go on like butter, really. So yeah, but the main thing to do when you're using rub on, cut them off with the backing sheet on just while you're working out where you place them. So yeah, so I'll get those on. And then here we go. Where are we up to? Okay, enamel dots. So these are also in the main kit, and I'm just going to pop a few of those around each of my clusters as well. And I'm sort of thinking I'm nearly done, actually. I'm looking at it and thinking, yeah, how much more have I done? But I think I'm sort of pretty much there. So eventually, after my initial change of heart with the sort of way I was going to go, this actually came together pretty quickly. Once I knew my placement of the squares, then creating the clusters and that, comes together really sort of nicely. So yeah, but it's a great, grids, and this is a style of a grid, I guess. It's not an equal grid, it's an uneven grid, I guess. But anyway, grids are a great design, always a good go-to if you're not really sure where to start. A grid is a great place to start. So yeah. Okay, I've added my lines for my journaling, which I'll do off camera, and then I'm going to add a title. Now, I went to use the alpha in the September kit, but I couldn't get all the letters I wanted out of it. And I really wanted to use the raised stickers. So I actually went back to the alpha in the August kit because it was also in the sort of peachy orange, which was perfect with the colours in the kit. And that's what's great about the hip kits. So many elements work really well together from kit to kit. So yeah, so I'm just adding Happy Place here. As I said, it is definitely by the coast. Being by the seaside is definitely my happy place. I love being by the water. Okay, so I think we're pretty much almost done, and the close-ups are going to be coming up in just a moment. Here we go. My journaling's completed, and I've added my date and that to the 3 tabs. So here are the close-ups. I hope you've enjoyed the process video, and I'll see you again very soon in my next video. Bye for now.